Welcome, fans, to a special Thanksgiving episode of Rangers Ed. This is your host, Cousin Ed, with my co-host, Coach Ed. What's up, Coach?
Morning, fellas. Happy Thanksgiving.
With that Gordie Howe poster in the background. I love it.
Yeah,
And
I didn't get a chance to redecorate yet.
Little Ed, what's up, bud?
You got to knock down a few walls to hang that picture. Good morning, fellas. This is an interesting one. The first time we're recording in the morning, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is. Mikey Produces, what's up, man?
Good morning, guys. Finally get to say we recorded in the morning drinking coffee.
Yeah, how did everyone had a good Thanksgiving? I saw the coach you set up outside for the Friday afternoon game.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice, Philly.
Nice, decent weather. Got a little chilly, but we did all right.
Yeah, Little Ed was sure to send me
What?
a video of the pizza that was made. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it wasn't as chilly over by the 600-degree little pizza oven that I had to constantly keep opening and feeding the fire. I came out looking like a chimney man with or a chimney sweep with soot all over me. But it was a good time. Rangers got a nice win out on the pool deck with the TV outside. Like Coach said, it was a little chilly, but it's all part of the experience.
Prepping
It
for
looks
the
like
stadium
Looks like
game.
Mikey was. Yeah, it looks like Mikey was in there actually with the chim. He was doing something. What the hell was he doing? Fanning flames.
We were trying to get it going. Coach had brought over a log that was a little too wet, I think, and Mikey was trying to feed the
Set me up to
fire.
fail.
So he was working hard over there.
He gave up pretty quick though.
Yeah.
I started sweating and wanted to go inside.
So we decided to drop this episode now because tomorrow I'm going to New York and we're going to the Rangers Buffalo game.
Mhm.
So that'll be we won't be recording. We'll be at the game. So if you're at the Garden tomorrow night on Monday, the 27th, look for us. I don't know what section we're in or anything, but look for us there and say hi if you recognize us.
Section 102, I think I sent, didn't I? I sent it to Eddie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think you sent it. I just don't remember.
You just
You
don't
guys
read
are
my
so
text.
I read them, but for some reason I don't retain information when other people tell it to me. I'm learning this about myself.
Oh,
I
who
don't
told
know
you that?
Well, you're one of the people who have told me that.
Oh, okay. As long as I'm not the only one.
You're definitely not. But anyway, so 3 big games this week to discuss. The Rangers on Wednesday, the 22nd, with a 1-0 shutout against the Penguins. Jonathan Quick comes in and shuts down the Penguins. Then at Philly on Friday afternoon, the Thanksgiving game, outshot 37-19, but didn't feel that way. 3-1 win over the Flyers. And then yesterday, the big bad Bruins come to Madison Square Garden, and the Rangers pretty much dominated that game. 7-4 was the final. Quick gets the start against the first place Bruins. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Rangers are the number 1 team in the NHL. 15 wins, 31 points, and they are tied with Boston, but they have played less games and have more wins, so they are ahead of them. So the Rangers in first place. Let's get our reactions on this. Little Ed, Rangers Bruins 7-4. The over/under was 5.5. What happened in this game?
We had the over 10 minutes into the first period. It felt like I haven't watched a Ranger game like that in a long time. I guess you see other games around the league, usually on the West Coast, 7 goals, 8 goals, 8-5, 8-4, whatever. But it's been a while, I feel like, since we saw a Ranger game like that. And yeah, it was exciting to watch. Like Joe and Sam were all revved up the whole game. And it wasn't like a bad game on really either team's part. I mean, Boston started out slow, definitely, but I think the Rangers just played a great game offensively, and the Bruins played a great game offensively, and the Rangers just made less mistakes, it seemed like. And it was just an awesome game to watch. It had playoff vibes in the beginning. The Garden just felt like we weren't there, but it sounded like on TV. It just had those vibes. And the afternoon game, so it was just a cool day. It was a cool game to watch overall.
Yeah. Coach, what about you? What's your reaction on the 7-4? I mean, you just never know in this game, right? Like I thought this game was going to be like a 2-1, 3-2 game going into it.
I mean, I thought Quick played outstanding. Omar, I thought was shaky from the start. He was letting up a lot of rebounds, juggling pucks. He was having trouble finding the puck.
I was texting Eddie the whole game. He stinks. If he was on another team, he would not have won a Vezina or have nowhere near the numbers he has.
Well, he was great last year.
What?
He was good last year. He was good last year.
I didn't really watch many games of his last year, but like this game, he was just way out of position constantly, always looking for the puck, couldn't find the puck, always fumbling it, like Coach just said. Like it just didn't seem like he wasn't on the puck where you see like, oh, the goalie's seeing it well tonight. Just I don't know, he didn't impress me. But maybe he just had an off night too. Who knows?
No, I mean he was bad.
Yeah, I mean the Rangers did a great job of finding the open man, not just forcing passes. I just thought they played a really good game. I thought they played better than letting up 4 goals, but it happens. They had a couple of lapses in there. Boston's a good team, obviously, and the part I was more impressed with was the way Boston came back and tied it. The momentum could have swung, but the Rangers just came back out and just jumped on it. And
it's a good time by the coach.
Yes, good timing on both coaches' part, Mikey. Like you just said,
I was a little surprised at those timeouts. I was like, what they calling timeouts now for? Because it could be a tight game, but obviously
I texted cousin Ed. Montgomery just knows his team. You know, like it just seems like it doesn't seem like it. He's a really good coach. I think his record's like 77, 13, and 6 in the last 100 games or whatever. It's like ridiculous. And like you could just tell when he called that timeout, every single Bruin was looking at him and listening to everything he was saying. So as soon as that happened,
I'd love to hear that, Mike.
Well, I sent you a clip that in the pregame that he had. I sent you guys the other day. You probably didn't watch it, but he's just a great coach, and it seems like he's got the team doing what he's saying. And as soon as I saw that on TV, I was like, they're going to tie this game. Without a doubt. It was 2-0. I was like, this is going to be a game. There's no way this is over. And
I just think that the Rangers, even after listening to Dave Maloney, is probably repeating what he said. I just think they outskilled them. I don't see the only line I heard like the announcers saying was the Marchand line and Coyle. You don't hear anybody else on the Bruins. You know, there's no standouts. And that's what I'm saying. The Marchand line and Coyle's line. Other than that, you don't know what's going. I mean, the journeyman players, obviously, like the Rangers, but look at the Rangers. I think they said everybody but 2 guys had a point yesterday. I just think they're outskilled right now. I'm not saying they're going to sweep Boston in the series or anything crazy, but I think that's what carried that game where the Rangers' skill level, 3 good lines, and the 4th line obviously playing great.
It's kind of been the Bruins like issue in a way for a while. They have a very top heavy first line with Marchand, Bergeron, and Pastrnak. Last year was a similar situation. They're just a good team game. So if other teams can outmuscle them like the Rangers did or outplay them, they got it under control. But I mean, they're still a good team. It was tight up until the Rangers pulled ahead 5-4, 6-4, and then finally 7-4, right? So it was just like it was a tight game. I'd say probably first 5-6 minutes of the third, and then the Rangers took over. So
yeah,
they're still a really good team.
I think at one point.
But
it was 5-3 on that goal. That goal by Keandre at the end of the second period was a huge goal.
3-3, not 4-4.
To make that 5-3 going into the third was just I think the team took a deep breath. But I wanted to ask you, Coach, in the past with defensive-minded coaches, sometimes you see teams, not just the Rangers, but we'll focus on the Rangers, but you see teams come out in a third with a mindset of, all right, we got to just shut this down completely and not give up anything. We're up 2 goals, right? And that turtling mentality can sometimes lead to a lot of chances for the opponent, and then pucks get tipped, it goes in. The Rangers came out in a third and attacked. I think Micheletti talked about it a little bit during the game, but that's a different That's a Laviolette thing, I think, because they were saying like his teams, he likes to continue to attack even when he's ahead. So how do you coach your players to continue to attack, but also play defense because you're up, right? So we always talk about that. You bring it up all the time. You got to protect the lead, but also attack. So what's the line there?
Well, the mindset is it's the Herb Brooks line. Play your game. Keep playing your game. I say it all the time when we're coaching. We both say it. Play the game. Don't fall back. Just play a little smarter. Like I think I remember, it might have been, I don't know where I read it years ago. No drop passes above the circles in offense. Defense, make the smart plays. Dump it in the corner if you don't have a shooting lane. Keep on the attack. Don't give them the odd man rush the other way. Don't do anything stupid with puck management. But keep playing the game. Keep pucks when you don't have anything. No blind passes.
No Panarin passes cross ice.
And the big thing, if you watched yesterday closely, I don't remember Boston having an odd man rush.
They had a couple.
Constantly, not as many as the Rangers.
It was Gustafsson and Miller at different times making mistakes, but constantly getting back and making up for it.
Both those guys had bad games.
Yeah, but they just kept both going back and getting the puck back. Miller would turn it over.
But my point is there was constant Rangers covering that passing lane on Boston's breakout at the blue line, sticking the passing lane, back checking, back pressure that Maloney was talking about and Valaket a lot. That back pressure is very important for the D to be able to step into a play. And the Rangers, I thought, did an excellent job yesterday. It was a good game to watch. Again, even though they let up 4 goals, I thought they played really well. It's weird, but that's a good team.
That's what I was saying before. That's what Micheletti and Sam were saying. Like they were like, both teams are playing so well. It's just like a matter of like these little mistakes that are going in. But I was about to say that I think we saw like a good example of just like two very well coached teams, and it was kind of like a chess match in a way. Like Montgomery called the timeout, and then Laviolette started to see it go like veer off a little bit, so he called the timeout, and then like Coach Ed just went through the whole defensive structure. Like players just don't just play that way. That's coaching. That's practicing that forecheck and things. And I just wanted to build off of what Coach was saying, like, or what you asked Coach in the third period there. We don't change our forecheck, but it's kind of like an aggressive, passive forecheck where like the first guy goes in hard, and then it's like a 1-2-1. So like the two guys in the middle are kind of a little bit more passive. Maybe we'll do a coach's corner on that next episode. But it's like you still want to stay aggressive, but then you want to cut off the passing lanes. You don't want to like all 3 guys going aggressive. It's hard to explain without a board.
I don't see any defenseman.
You understand.
I don't see any defenseman on Boston that impressed me. I'm sorry. I got to throw it at Mikey P next time. McAvoy does pretty good on his passes out of zone, but what other defenseman did you notice?
He made a terrible mistake on Kreider's shorthanded goal, and then he couldn't catch him. He looked like he was skating in sand.
Oh my God! It wasn't even close.
Not even close.
Well,
but
Fox wouldn't be able to catch him either, so we can't talk.
When do you remember the Rangers having like 3 breakaways in one period? In the third period, they had 3 breakaways, like one after another. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Grabner, I guess, when Grabner used to have 5 a game himself.
Yeah, I wasn't really impressed with Boston at all, let alone the defense. I don't know. I mean, I know they're a good team, well coached. Their record speaks for itself, 14-3-1. But like Coach said, I think they lack some high-end talent. I mean, to win in the playoffs, you do need a certain play style, but you also need to have guys who could fill the net when the game is tight. And they have Pasternak. I mean, they have Marchand, I guess. He wasn't noticeable at all in this game. And I don't know what else they have there. I mean, like I said, I texted you, Little Ed. Coyle's an underrated player. I get it, but he's not a star player. Yeah, but he's not like a star player or anything.
He could develop, he's probably close to like a Trocheck type player. He's going to be great defensively for you. And hopefully, Trocheck right now is better than him. I think it shows offensively, but if he puts in a few more offensive or whatever work, he could be up there. But that's the type of player I'm saying, like more defensive minded, but definitely able to, you know.
I mean, look
We-
at the stats.
We don't
you
even
get-
need
look at
Trocheck
this-
to be that though. We just
Right.
don't. When you look at the Rangers' top end players, like who could fill the net or create plays, how many do you need? Right? We have Zibby and Kreider, and we have Panarin and Laffy. That's 4 right there. Like, we don't really need any more to go deep. We just need those guys to show up, and then the rest of the guys do their jobs. And I think Boston doesn't have that. Like they just don't
look at
have
the
those.
stat. Look at the stat sheet yesterday. Even Kako had a block shot.
Yeah.
He might have got on the stat sheet yesterday.
Kako,
Producers.
Lafreniere, and Cooley, the only Rangers forwards without points in that game.
Yeah,
Laffy
but
somehow
Laff-
does not get any assists again.
He had 6 or 7 unexpected. What's the stat? Expected assists.
No, we're gonna call those a coach ed expected assists because it's not a real stat.
Oh my
Fans
God,
are
he
gonna
said-
start googling expected assists and calling this out. There's no expected assist stat.
I mean, he set up Panarin a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Panarin was definitely a little snake bit in that game. Then he finally got one. But then he could have had like 3 or 4 more after that. But
God.
Mikey, I was going to ask you, do you think Marchand was a little scared of Trouba after Trouba was running around taking names?
Oh, definitely. Like Cousin Ed said, he was kind of non-existent during yesterday's game. He definitely didn't play the game he usually plays.
No,
I didn't really see him. I didn't see him chirping anybody or, so.
We got to ask
He
Mikey P that next episode because maybe since he's captain, he's trying to like tone down the nonsense a little bit.
They definitely said that. I think the broadcast, I think Joe Micheletti brought that up too, that he's staying out of trouble a little bit. Bergeron might have had a conversation with him. But yeah, he's not the same player. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for him, but yeah, Trouba was a force out there yesterday. Or he's been a force all season, man. I keep telling everyone that keeps asking me about him, whatever. He was definitely hurt last year. He was just not the same player.
He has been outstanding this season. So I saw this stat. I sent it to you guys last night. There's 67 NHL players who have logged at least 300 even strength minutes this season. And of those players, only 3 have been on for fewer than goals against than Trouba's 9 goals against at even strength this year. So there's only 3 players that have played as many minutes as Trouba, pretty much, who have given up, been on the ice for less goals against than him. That's pretty awesome. And by
so now plus minus does mean something.
It's not
it's
that.
It's
not a plus minus stat. It's not a plus minus stat.
It's similar.
Well, it's more about just focusing on the defensive end. It's nothing to do with goals for. So it's not really plus minus. And then last season, through the same amount of games, Trouba at this point had been on for 19 goals against. So that's a 10-goal difference in goals against for him. So, and not only that, but the article also talked about the increase in minutes, right? So with Fox out, Trouba and Miller have been the shutdown pair playing against the number 1 line. There's been no matchups like that, Coach. We've talked about it in the past. If the other team's first line is a big, powerful line, Trouba and Miller usually get the task. If it's faster or smaller, then usually it's Fox and Lindgren. Fox is out, so it isn't anybody else but Trouba and Miller right now, and they're really Trouba at least is really carrying that pair defensively, I think.
I mean, Keandre had that nice goal, but I still don't think he had a good game yesterday. His puck movement in the neutral zone is off. He made some good outlet passes for sure, but he's just off for his skill level.
He's trying to snap out of it, but there's something just a little off about him. He's not like going through the motions. You could tell he's trying to make plays, which is good. Like he's trying to hold on to his confidence, but at the same time, I think he's got to take not a step back, but I don't know, be a little bit more mindful.
Not in style, but in this sense, he reminds me of a young Kreider. He's just, there's something watching him. I'm like, I want more constantly.
Right.
It's just one of those guys that like, you're just like, there's more there. He could play. He didn't play well yesterday.
He's so
he didn't play
fast.
well
He's
yesterday,
so
but
big,
if he just like, can you imagine having his size and speed and skill and not being like a 50-point player on D. Like he should be one of the best defensemen in the league with all that.
I'm telling you.
package.
Yeah.
It's just so no matter what he does, I'm always going to.
He's got that girlfriend now. I don't know. She might be sucking the life out of him.
But he doesn't hit.
He threw the body a little bit yesterday.
He doesn't hit. He passes up too many hits, man.
Give you-
Somebody's got to get in his head. He doesn't have to be a bruising player. You're never gonna force a player who doesn't have that mean streak to have that mean streak. Like you either have it or you don't have it. He doesn't have it, but he needs to take the body a little more, a little bit
Just
more.
angle. He just got to angle out. He's got to box out. He's got to be a little more physical. But
and he's great with the reach, though. Great with that.
I don't want to forget this point before we move on because I'll end up forgetting. But to me, the big difference in that game is a playoff type game and the fourth line. I mean, third and fourth line. Bonino had a great game. The fourth line was freaking
Bonino.
obviously, Sam couldn't wait for him to get his first goal.
They just talked about it last game. They just talked about it against the Flyers.
But that fourth line, that fourth line was just fun to watch yesterday.
It was. They went hard against the first line a lot. What were you gonna say?
No, I love how VC didn't even start the first 3 games of the season.
Well, the first
And
game.
I
think it was only the first one.
I think it was 2 games. At least 2.
I feel like he's becoming Laviolette's pet almost.
Well, last year VC came in on a PTO and had to earn his spot. This year, and he impressed and he did his job, right? This year, VC came in maybe expecting a spot, and he was healthy scratched on the home opener. Stood there on the bench in a suit and a tie for the home.
It wasn't
opener.
2 games.
I don't know.
I think
thought
it
was 1.
Whatever.
Look it up.
All right, whatever. He
You're
sat
the
the home
producer.
opener, which was
I don't know. And then that maybe lit a fire under him.
No,
you're
it
always
did.
challenging Mike's lookups, Ed. So he's, he thought you had.
Mike's gonna look it up, then I'm gonna question it and look it up also. But he can look it up for now. But yeah, Coach, to your point, the fourth line, not just on the stat sheet, was awesome. This game, just
all
awesome.
3 games.
Pitlick, Goudreau, and VC is the fourth line. Bonino, a fourth liner on the third line. That line to me looks a little lost, other than Bonino's goal. But Cooley, Kakko, and Bonino, I don't know. But that fourth line,
I thought Cooley's playing well.
Yeah, he's playing well, in spurts. But I just don't see enough consistent forecheck like the fourth line. Like the fourth line was literally a forechecking machine. Like every time they're out there, the puck's in the offensive zone. It's crazy. And they also
they were out there against the first line a lot. They had their number, and then Bruins first line aren't really great defensively. It seemed like last night or yesterday. So
yeah, I don't know.
It was a great. Once again, that was coaching. Laviolette said it after the game. He's like, I started them out there only for like the defensive draws, and then I saw how it was going, so I just put them out there constantly against the first line, and they just had their number the whole game.
Yeah, it just allows the coach to roll 4 lines, and then you take a look at the time on ice in this game. Barclay Goodrow played almost 16 minutes. VC played almost 15 minutes. Pitlick almost 12 minutes. Kakko, 10 minutes, right? I mean, those guys were rolling. Like, he literally adjusted mid-game. It's nice to have a coach that says, like, hey, this line is dominating. I want Kakko to play more than that line, but you need a coach who can read in this particular game. This line is going, this line is not. I'm spinning this line out more, I'm pretty happy. I mean, look, the record speaks for itself, but the in-game adjustments of Laviolette, it's very noticeable. It's Gallant never did that. Like, never. Anyway.
Not that I saw, or not that we heard about, or noticed, or anything like that. But it was just you could just tell he's a great coach, and the players are buying into his system and everything. And I guess on the topic of coaching, before we get away from the defense, who's going to be the odd man out when Fox comes back? All the defensemen are playing real well. Even I'm the last one to admit about Jones, but he looked great in the defensive zone last night.
I thought Jones was one of our best defensemen last night, yesterday afternoon. I thought he was awesome. Juking at the
I don't
blue
know
line,
about- I
playing
don't know
with.
about that, but
I don't know about
He
best
was.
defenseman, but I
I
thought he
didn't say
played
the
great.
best. I said one of our best. I thought he was outstanding, honestly. I haven't really felt that way about him.
Me neither.
I think he's the odd man out. It's obvious. He's very similar to Fox. You're not taking Gustafson out. You're not taking Lindgren out. So you're not taking Miller out, right?
it's either Schneider or Jones.
Schneider's not going to come out. The team is obsessed with Schneider. It doesn't matter. You got to let that kid just roll on the third pair, and he's one of the best third pairing defensemen in the league, and everyone complains about him. It's crazy. You should see it, Coach. You don't go online, but you should go on Twitter. I'm telling you, Twitter is the worst place in the world. It's literally, or X.
They're complaining about Schneider. The only reason why he's a little lost is because he's out there with Jones.
The fans, Coach, the internet is full of so much complaining that I end up changing and defending things if I'm going to comment. So like, you know how you say, like, I'm like, like yesterday I was bitching about Quick. Remember Little Ed? I was like, oh, Quick's got to make that save. And Little Ed's like, Quick's fine.
He's like, I got to question the coaching decision on this one about not putting Igor against the Bruins. I'm like, dude, Quick just had a shutout against Pittsburgh. What are you talking about?
No, I would have started Igor against Boston
yesterday.
No, it was a weird schedule, I guess, but obviously the injury probably threw that off. But Quick's the hot goalie right now, man.
Look, he's got a better pulse on the team than me, but Igor is a Vezina winning goalie, and Bruins are the number one team in the league, right? But anyway, 100%. So I'm here, I'm questioning this or whatever early in the game, and then I go on Twitter, I'm just scrolling, and I see all this negativity about Quick, and I'm just like, all right, I'm not one of these people. Like, I just closed the app, and I'm just like, Quick's fine. Like, that's it. I can't read this shit. So the internet is terrible. But anyway, Schneider is one of the the team has 15 wins. The players attacked right now are Kakko, deservedly, I think, Schneider, and a goalie if they have a bad game. When Igor played poorly against Dallas, is there a goalie controversy? No.
They want them to go 82-0. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's like some fans are just like,
when they lost against Dallas, I thought the Rangers were the worst team in the league.
Yeah, here comes the tailspin, things like that.
Yeah, just so
anyway, I think it's Jones on defense. Coach, it has to be Jones, right? It comes out for Fox.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, it's given them a little bit of trade bait to move him if they have to get a piece that they might need. I don't think they need anything right now, but
right now he's obviously playing for a spot. He's playing well. He's playing competitive to try and get a spot. But I think obviously he knows he probably doesn't have one necessarily. So like Coach said, I think he's probably just playing. Maybe he has a spot on another team. There's plenty of other teams out there that he'd be maybe a top 4, top 5 defenseman, I would say.
The bigger question also is now Gustafson goes from one of the top pair defensemen playing with Lindgren to the third pair. So you have 3 good pairs. It's going to be I don't know. I don't see any other team. I guess I don't pay attention, but they got 7 good defensemen.
Well, there's a reason they're where they are, and that's one of them, right? So I think with Jones, yes, he could be trade bait, but I think back to like teams that have gone on deep runs, and you really need 8 defensemen to get through the playoffs if you're going to make a deep run.
Yeah,
so having Jones as the 8th defenseman. Like if they could pick up a quality 6th, 7th defenseman, veteran, bigger player for the 7D spot, and then just ride Jones in the 8D in the playoffs, I think that's a good position to be in. So maybe they don't trade him. Maybe they hang on to him.
I saw Harper got hurt.
All right.
What do you throw your hands up for? He was on the team last year, the year before. He played fine. He's literally the guy that you just described.
No. Better than Harper.
Yes.
No,
okay.
I'm thinking more like Justin Braun, like when they picked him up. Like
you're gonna say Justin Braun? You were probably complaining about him too.
No, that was a perfect move for
fans. Definitely are. Fans hated
I'll look
him.
it up.
Get Joe in his story.
Didn't he blow out his knee or something? Harper, I think he's out for the season. I saw.
No, I didn't see the injury, so I shrugged my
I don't know if it
shoulders.
was a
only
knee,
because
but it
I
was
was.
definitely a season-ending injury.
Oh, it's sad. I don't like when guys get hurt for the season like that. It's tough.
No, you lose a
kinda-
whole year on your development. You lose a whole year on your contract. It's just
or your career. A guy like Harper, he's a
that's what I mean.
veteran.
Like,
He's battling for his NHL life, and they lose a whole year. That's tough. I feel bad for him. But I didn't see the play. Anyway, on
I didn't see the play
Little
either. I
Ed,
saw it online.
is it Jones for you also who comes out?
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't mean for it to be like an obvious answer. I just figured it'd be something the fans might be debating, and I just something I was thinking about last night. I mean, he just played well. It looked like he was making good passes out of the zone. He played better than Miller and Gustafson, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But that's
I agree.
I think that Gustafson just had an off game. I think he'll probably snap back out of it next game, hopefully. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just an interesting thing. Like, it's good. It's a good problem to have for sure.
Mikey, you too?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a huge fan of Jones since the beginning. I think he plays well against certain teams, which is, like a team like Boston and stuff. You kind of see him excel, but bigger and physical teams out there in the league, I don't think we would kind of see the same play from him. So, but it was nice seeing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Boston is
Boston
usually one of
didn't.
those physical teams, but not last night or not yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I think it depends against faster teams. Against slower teams, I mean, Jones can really use his speed and quickness. And I think Boston looked a little slow to me. So that might have been what it was, but they can easily counter that by just being physical with him, and they weren't. Anyway, on offense, coach makes a good point. When Heedle's skating on his own. So let's start there. We brought EA the PA in to talk about Heedle's injury and the risks there. Now he's skating. So that means he's trending towards coming back. Who knows how long it'll be? I mean, at this point, I wouldn't rush him. The team is fine. It's not like we're losing games. We need to get some scoring or whatever. Let him figure it out. But when he is eligible to come back, and they do want to bring him back in the lineup, I think that it's where who comes out with everybody clicking. I mean, the fourth line, Pitlick, Gaudreau, and VC was awesome last night. If they're playing like that,
You can't touch that line.
Not
You
just
can't touch
last
that
night.
line.
They've been playing like that for a few games.
yeah, they have. It's a serious. Like, I know some fans are going to be like, "Oh, it's obvious." Pitlick comes out. Like, yeah, probably that's what'll end up happening. But do you really want to break that lineup? Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So then the question becomes, Bonino, can't take him out. I mean, Bonino is blocking every shot. I think Micheletti went on a rant in the game about how you don't measure what Bonino brings to the team in points. Like, it's true.
Yeah, he did say that.
Can't take him out. So you're gonna take out Kako? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't have the answer. I mean, it's probably gonna be take your time bringing Heedle back. There's no rush, and then hope. I don't think you hope at anything, but just see what happens.
We're talking about something that might be happening in like a month or two from now. Just because he's skating on his own, that could be a long time. But no, I mean, either way. I mean, mine would probably to slot Bonino down to the fourth line, obviously, and then you got the four forwards on the fourth line. That's the only option. I mean, you can't healthy scratch Kako unless you really want Twitter or the internet to explode. Then I don't know.
If you really want to ruin Cousin Ed's Christmas,
yeah.
I don't know what to do with Kako. I just got to be patient.
You said it last night. You tweeted it out. It was a great tweet. You got to be patient. I said it last night.
No, I am. I said that. I agree.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the fans.
It's just frustrating.
It's frustrating as hell. I get it. We were expecting Kako to be the player that Laffy is right now, which no one's happy about Laffy. Everyone's just negative about Kako, which is driving me a little crazy.
They have to complain about something,
Right. So then it's that. But like I was saying about Quinn Hughes, what he was saying, it just takes players different times to click and to figure it out. I mean, Kako goes through the spurts last year. He was figuring it out. Now he's falling a little bit behind. He's got to get his confidence back. It happens.
New coach, got to find his role. Go ahead, coach.
Yeah.
You guys sent out, I don't know who sent the tweet or whatever the hell it was out about Offman, what he's learning in the minors in the AHL. What was that about stick position, stick angles, all these technical stuff that's well beyond my ability. But maybe that's why Cooley developed a little better too. He played that 1 year down in the minors, learned a
Coach, you
lot.
sent that
One
article, by the way.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you said.
Oh, I said.
It was an article from like the New York Post or something.
I got to lay off the peyote.
Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, maybe some guys need that year down there to just go through those finer tuned things for the NHL level. You know, maybe Laffy maybe even needed a half a season down there, but
I said
because
that
they're
when it
number
first
one.
came out.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it. You said it for sure. Maybe Kako needed that 1 year, and it's slowing his development down because you don't get, I don't think, as much one-on-one. I think down in the AHL's more because there's more pressure in the NHL to win.
They might get a
The
lot more
AHL
practice time too. I'm not sure how
right.
their schedule.
You might get more one-on-one coaching and development things going on. So I don't know. It's something to think about. Cooley, I think, is doing a great job. You guys said they had an off game. I'm watching them in a defensive zone. They had a couple of mistakes, but then again, they're playing against a team that's first in the NHL before yesterday.
I don't think.
But,
I don't think Cooley had an off game. I mean, nothing against Bonino, but he shouldn't be on that line. I mean, he's a very defensive minded forward. So Kako is a player that probably needs a little bit more skilled of a center. And I would say Cooley does too. They're used to playing with a lot better players. I mean, Cooley was just playing down in Hartford, or probably on the top line with Brodzinski. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, last year he was playing with Brodzinski in the playoffs. So it's a more offensive-minded. What?
He was playing with Trocheck earlier.
At the beginning of the year too. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, for players like that, I mean, now if Bonino's playing defensive-minded, and if look at Kako and Cooley's stats yesterday in the defensive end, I'm sure they were pretty good. So it's just hard. Hopefully with an offensive-minded, or if when Heel comes back, maybe him and Kako will click like they did last year, the kids line or whatever. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Like I said, nothing against Bonino. That's just not the right spot for that line to click, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't saying he had an off game individually, Coach. Just the line itself didn't stand out is all I meant.
But getting back to that point, just the fact that Cooley and Offman, just hearing those words, they're not like, I want to be in the NHL or nothing. Let's go back to the Elias Anderson thing, who we thought he just earned it because he had that skill level. He's down there. I thought he could have made the team, from a fan standpoint. Obviously, like you said before, we're not in the training camp. We're not that deep into the team. And look, he's down there and he's just saying, I got to learn. I got to get ready. I just think that's great as far as the character issue goes. And it's exciting for the next couple of years.
Well, Coach, that was a good article you sent, for sure. But I will say, first of all, Elias Anderson is in the AHL. But he's one of the best players in the AHL points-wise. But aside from that, I think that, again, comes from the North American mindset versus European. And it's not anything against Europeans, but when you grow up in the U.S. or Canada playing hockey, you're just drilled. It's drilled into your brain. Like, I got to work, got to get there, got to work my way up. AHL becomes a step from juniors. So most players, unless they're first or second overall pick, expect to sign an entry-level deal, go to the AHL, earn their stripes for a little bit, and then get called up. Most guys expect that. When you're coming from Sweden or Finland or Russia, you don't want to travel halfway across the world to ride buses in the AHL when you have professional leagues over there already that you can make more money, be a star. Everybody loves you. It's a different mindset,
They become pros at like 14 years old.
Right. So
I saw William Nylander scored his first professional goal on a line with Michael Nylander, and William Nylander was like 15.
He's having a crazy season. That's
but
amazing.
I'm just saying, like, that's how young they are playing professionally in Sweden, Finland, Russia. Like, as soon as they're good enough to play in these leagues, there's no development leagues. It's just like, okay, you're good enough. Right. You're playing in the KHL or whatever Swedish elite league, and getting paid well and treated like royalty.
So it's a decision an organization needs to make, right? When you draft a guy like Kakko, who's 18, coming from Finland, do I allow him to play in Finland, because that's where he's going to play, for a year or two and develop against, men over there? Or do I bring him to the NHL? There is no usually, let's bring him to the AHL. That's just not, it's usually in Finland he develops or NHL. And it's not because they won't play in the AHL per se. It's more so they have more opportunity in Finland or Sweden or Russia. But it's a good point you make, because it's a different mindset. It develops the North American mindset, I think, develops really, really good role players for teams. Cooley is an excellent role player. He could be more than that, but right now, already, he's an excellent role player.
That's why he made the team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could use another Will Cooley down the stretch heading into the playoffs.
Hoffman.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Hoffman gets the call. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting with Hoffman. So who comes out of the lineup, Coach? You didn't even answer your own question. If Hedl is healthy right now, coming back next game, and the team automatically said, because you can't bench Hedl in this question, it automatically said Hedl is in the lineup. Who's out?
I mean, obviously it's going to be one of the fourth liners, but the way that these guys are playing, you have to. Again, you said it in the last few episodes. Kakko zeros across the stat board.
I know.
Maybe he needs to sit down for a couple of games. I don't know. You take Cooley out, who throws the body around in a playoff style atmosphere.
Can't take Cooley out.
You know what I mean? You can't take Benino out. Pitlick's playing really good in the fourth line. Vesey's playing good. Goodrow's not coming out.
Pitlick is playing really well. He's really good.
It's going to be a tough decision.
Yeah,
it's going to be a
kudos. I didn't know what to expect from Pitlick, and he's just filled that line perfectly.
Kudos to
that play he made yesterday, the goal he scored, the way he backed off the crease to get open and just one-timed it, that was beautiful for a 4-5 player. That was real nice.
He's got sneaky speed. He gets in on the forecheck, separates the man from the puck, gets the right angle on his forechecks. I mean, he's just a really effective player. I really like him.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but Wheeler stood out to me yesterday on the back check all over the ice with his reach on the forecheck.
Another example of patience with Wheeler, right? I mean, we're sitting here in the first week. Obviously, look, we have a podcast, so we got to talk about things that are current. And sometimes something comes up where people might be like, oh, you're jumping the gun. Even I bring up a topic and back off it because I'm just talking about it. Wheeler, though, it was significantly a question early in the season. Is he cooked? He's older, and he didn't have the legs under him. But patience, right? We kept saying it. Give him some time, get some legs under him. He's played 15 years with one team. I think Little Ed even said that. Like, we played, you said it, right? He's been playing 15 years in Winnipeg. He's coming to a new team. Yep. He looks a lot quicker to me than he did early in the season. He found his legs.
Yeah, I told Coach that I have to eat my words. I was talking a lot of shit about him, saying that he's a little too slow for that line. He can't keep up with Kreider or whatever. And I also said that him and Kreider are two similar players. It seemed like they were both trying to do the same thing below the goal line. That like hard forecheck, get the puck to Miko or whatever. And then there was two guys below the goal line instead of like setting up the triangle in the offensive zone. So I was just talking a lot about that but I got to eat my words. It seems like he's kind of backed off that role of like being the first guy in the zone. And he's kind of being now the setup man. Like I guess we'll call it the F2 in that situation. So, and like you said, that patience, not only with us, but with him, is showing too, the patience with the puck, his playmaking ability that we've been waiting to see. And that was a beautiful pass to Mika last night. And he also had a beautiful assist. Was that Pittsburgh? Or no, Pittsburgh was Laffy's goal from Mika.
It was the Flyers
game. Against the Flyers game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great passer. So fans out there, I don't think we're going to look to see him. It doesn't look like Coach Ed's bold prediction of 30 goals is going to come true, but maybe we'll give.
Can I change that to 30?
I was going to say we'll give him a chance to change it to not 30 assists. You got to go with that number a little higher, I think, to make
We'll
Maybe
go 50 assists.
maybe 30
50?
points, coach. Take 30 points from Wheeler at this point. He's got 6 points now, 2 goals, 4 assists on the season. So
yeah,
he's playing better.
Think,
playing better.
But Mika's starting
like
to put pucks
everybody
in the
else.
net. Mika's starting to put pucks in the net, and he's,
Is he though? Is he? Because he did it in one game.
All right, well,
Ask.
all right. Panarin had it's the line is starting to click. Give it a Mikey Produces window.
Sample size.
Mikey
Sample size. Let's give him 8 to 10 games, together, and let's see if Mika wakes up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Mika to wake up, other than against Philly. But
I don't
never
know,
mind the
Mika's
goal scoring. He looked like he was skating a lot better last night or the last couple games. Mika.
Yeah.
And he was blocking shots yesterday. So
yeah, he was.
He's buying into the program and he's doing all the right
playing
things.
fine. He's playing fine. He's just got to fill the net. I mean, that's
Coach.
He's not signed for a Benino role. He's a
Mika's
scorer.
passed to Keandre. Mika's passed to Keandre. I jumped off the seat. Kathy's like, "What happened? What happened?" She was in the kitchen. That is such a subtle play that for him to make that dish perfect like that was incredible.
Yeah. All right. Last thing before we move to the next segment. The Trouba fine $5,000 for the high stick on Trent Frederick. You guys saw the video. Reactions, Little Ed.
It was one of those things like wires just crossed for a second. Trouba turned his whole body and followed up with the stick. I mean, sometimes you don't realize you have 2 hands on the stick and it just happens, and he finished a little too high. To me, it's just shocking that they don't call a penalty on that play. It's crazy. The referee.
I just don't know why it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, that's insane. I didn't even notice
it's
that.
It's just been a penalty and no fine. I think he was fined because there was no penalty. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, to me, that's a 5-minute major.
Yeah,
and also
I don't think that's no accident. Ed, you're saying he just came around with the stick. I'm watching it now. He came around and whacked him, and that was way.
He looks.
That's not a short guy that he said, "Oh, his stick is in the waist high." He came
looked him right in the eyes and hit him with his stick.
Yeah, that's a nasty play.
All right, I'll look.
That's a nasty play. I say that even warrants more than $5,000. That's almost
suspendable. That's what I was going to say.
The
only reason they do the $5,000 is the minimum is because obviously different players make different amounts of money. But like, if you're only going to charge them $5,000, yeah, it's the minimum allowed by the CBA or whatever. No, maximum allowed by the CBA.
I think it's the maximum allowed. Yeah,
that's what I meant. So that's even worse. That's even worse. So that's the maximum fine you can get. It's like,
sorry,
it's nothing for some of these guys.
Players can be fined up to 50% of one day's salary, up to a maximum of $10,000 for their first offense and $15,000 for subsequent offenses.
Why do I always see like the maximum allowable for the CBA or whatever?
That's a nasty play.
If it's a
that's a suspendable play.
If it's a phone hearing or
I think he will be suspended
or no hearing, it's 5,000 maximum.
Oh yeah, that angle's a lot different than what I saw.
If it's a phone hearing or did you hear me?
I'm listening.
Sorry, if it's a phone hearing or no hearing,
they're in my ears.
Okay. So without a formal hearing, without a formal hearing, like in person, 5,000 is the maximum fine. That's why you always see that. So unless they have a big formal hearing where, people can talk and discuss, then 5,000 is the maximum fine. Interesting.
Now, is that it, or can he still be suspended?
I don't know if he.
I think he still could if they have a hearing.
Yeah, if they have a hearing,
I'm sorry.
He could, it's really nasty. It's really nasty. I mean,
I think it will be. I think it's gonna blow up in the media now. Just give it another day or two, and then people will start calling for his name.
When did that happen? I didn't even notice it.
I didn't notice it either. I saw it this morning, and I was like, "What?" I don't know how that wasn't called on the ice.
A penalty.
How was that missed? I don't understand.
I just don't understand. Referees. It's clearly a penalty. I mean,
it's obviously crazy. The goal.
It's not behind the play.
What?
It's not behind the play like it could have
Right,
been missed on the.
right.
It's like right next to
So-
where the goalie's covering the puck.
Right. So
So-
all referees are looking right at that area.
Yeah.
And no one saw that.
Hold on. It happened in the second period, early in the second, and right in front of a referee. I'm going to send you guys this clip. That's horrible.
Listen, Trouba's hits are really clean.
Can the
You know,
referees
he's
get
never
fined
he's never been
for missing a
suspended
call?
before. I don't know.
That should be a thing.
Yeah.
There'd be
Yeah,
no
no.
referees. There'd be no referees.
Yeah. Or maybe force them to open their eyes a little bit. It's ridiculous.
Trouba's never been suspended. You know, he hits really clean. I would hate. This is suspendable. It really is. I mean, this is the more I watch it, the more I think he should be suspended, to be honest with you. But I don't want this to set up a narrative that, you know, Trouba's now his hits are dirty. Like this was dirty, so
Right.
now all his hits are dirty. His hits are clean. This was a dirty play though. Dirty play. So Trouba's got to be mindful of his stick and not do
I
this
still
kind of
don't-
stuff. The way
Yeah,
he plays the game.
I still don't think he went for his head on purpose. I think he tried to get him in like the arm and then it came up.
The way he plays
Either way,
the
it's
game,
a dirty
though,
play. If you got him in the arm, it's still a dirty play.
right? But the way he plays the game, it's very important that he plays it clean,
100%.
or they're gonna start calling those penalties, right? If he gets a reputation like this, somebody's watching the video and not putting it on mute. That's coach for sure. Anyway, I just worry that this could lead to, you know, more calls
fine.
against him on clean plays.
I don't
You
think
know
so.
what drives me crazy? His mic.
The fact that the referee didn't even see it.
Right in front of the ref.
him. And then
Yeah.
if you're the coach and you go to the ref, you go, what was that high stick to the head? They'll be like, no. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
How did
100%.
that
That
referee
happens
even answer that
constantly.
question?
Nah, that was nothing. No. It didn't happen.
Yeah, it was
All
a
right,
follow
that
through.
was-
It was a follow
I
through.
don't know. A follow through on what? The puck wasn't there.
No, I'm being the ref in your hypo,
Oh.
your little story. All right, so
it
the
grazed
Rangers,
off his head. It grazed off his head. It wasn't that bad. He had a helmet on.
so the
Yeah,
Rangers
I don't
are in
understand
first
it.
place. Rangers are in first place, and it's Thanksgiving weekend. So let's wrap this up by talking about what we're thankful for on this team. One thing you're thankful for the Rangers or on the Rangers this year. Little Ed, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go with backup goaltending. Quickie is 7-0-1 now as the backup. Grew up a Rangers fan, so obviously he's got something to prove to himself, whatever you want to call it, and I think it's great. I mean, I guess I'll take it a step further, and I'm thankful for Benoit Allaire because he just gives us one after another, like I said to him at the hall.
Yeah, quick. Right now, I think before yesterday's game, he was leading the NHL in goals against average for anyone with at least 5 starts. 6-0-1 on the year after yesterday's win. So
I thought he was 6-0-1 before yesterday's win. I thought they said it during the game. No, maybe
No,
I
he
just remember after.
he was 5-0-1. So 6-0-1 for Quick. That's pretty awesome. Mikey, what about you? What are you thankful for in this team?
I am super thankful for Peter Laviolette and the way he's been coaching and taking this group of guys. I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty much the same group from last year. And, he came in and just like Little Ed said, everyone's buying into the system. And you can really tell out there. Absolutely tell. And I think it's the same group of guys from last year, but the only thing that's kind of different, a couple of pieces and Laviolette. So I think he's a huge part of the Rangers' success this year so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Coach, what are you thankful for?
Now that Eddie and Mike took my 2.
I was going to say that was definitely his.
Well, you can also be
Um,
thankful for that. You can copy it. It's okay.
I am thankful for both of those. My question to you is, I'm not on Twitter, obviously. What was the tweets after they lost to that Nashville game? Because I know I was frustrated, but the internet must have been going nuts.
I don't
Yeah, that was
remember.
the
That's-
But
That was
anyway,
early.
I'm
No idea.
gonna be thankful for Kreider's resurgence after not an off year last year, but not the 50 goal year, where now he's back and he's just to appreciate what he's doing. And that goal against Philly was phenomenal. That's my highlight goal of the year. His wherewithal to spin, know that pass was coming, catch it, and just bury it.
Oh,
That
that was
game.
yeah.
That was his hockey IQ on that play was off the charts. And
Yep.
just the way he's playing. I thought yesterday's game, like when they get a comfortable lead, he tends to like back off a little bit and play nonchalant on the power play. And, he doesn't keep that killer instinct. But his overall game this year, I'm
I
saying
know what
that's
you're
my
talking
thanks.
about. He becomes unselfish. He tries to make passes instead of just burying pucks.
Couple of giveaways.
Definitely.
And
yeah,
but
like just step on the throat. Even after the game, like when they're interviewing him, he should be all fired up. He's like, like I played well. Just like you're fired up like at different points. It's like you just had like the game of your career, game of the season. Yeah, he's a weird dude.
But Kreider coming back, obviously he's on pace for I don't know how many goals, Ed. 60. What do you got?
He's got 13 goals in 19 games. So 13 times 82 divided by 19.
52 goals. It's about 52 goals, 51 and change.
Yeah. I mean, he's third in the NHL. Well, technically he's tied for fifth in the NHL. 56, coach. Kucherov and Besser each have 15. Connor and Matthews each have 14. There's a bunch of guys tied for 13, Kreider being one of them. So good one, coach.
His name's moving up in all the Rangers stats. At every game, he's moving up a notch in some stat with the Rangers. So the Rafters are looking pretty good right now. They got to win a cup with him.
No, he's definitely going to get Rafters.
He's still not in the conversation as being elite.
Nobody considers him elite. It's crazy. It really is. I mean, he could score 50 goals again, and they'll be like, he's not, he's not a Kucherov. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, he's still elite, though. Like, doesn't have to be as good as Kucherov to be elite.
But I'll tell you who does think he's elite is every other coach that they got to play the Rangers. They're going to be, get Kreider out from the front of the net. So that's what counts. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thankful for Laffy's development. Because coming into the year, I said it last year when the Rangers were eliminated. The biggest failure of this organization, right? Go back to my rant after, was the inability to develop Lafreniere and Kakko and get them going. The team, I said it, is not going to go deep in the playoffs unless one of those guys steps up and becomes a star player. And it looks like Laffy is doing that. And it gives me a lot of confidence they can sustain the success they're having because you really need that extra cheap player, right? Zibby, 8.5 million. Kreider, 6.5, 7, right? Panarin, 11.5. I expect those guys to perform, but Laffy, on a $2 million contract, his second contract in the league, if he can get to that 50, 60 point even strength pace and become a real star in this league, the Rangers can make a deep run with those four, And then Kakko, maybe his development will go slower, but I don't know. To me, that was the biggest missing piece. You need to have star players to win. And you got to draft early, and Laffy just looking at training camp, coach, everyone was like, do we send Laffy down? Like, that was the conversation, and then to look at his game now, I mean, he's transformed. He's transformed. It's amazing what confidence can do for a kid. I think Laviolette, to go to Mikey's answer, has really instilled a lot of confidence in Laffy. So we'll see. I think next is getting him some more power play time, and then he'll really start to, show it. But he should have like 20 points easily.
Easy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been awesome. So that's for me.
He also had a big opportunity to shoot the puck and possibly score, and he tried to pass to Panarin. And I screamed to Lindsay, I'm like, come on, he's got to pad his stats, not try to make that pass. Like, just bury it. Be selfish. He was trying to be selfish and return the favor to Panarin.
there's like one little inch that these passes are off on him. Like they're
I
coming
know.
to him for a one-timer, and it's like a little bit too in front or a little bit too behind, and he's like, it's like screwing up his shot. So he's just got to get better at like adjusting a little bit on those shots. And I don't know what else he can do on these passes. Coach, you said it. He set up Panarin like 3 times yesterday. Easy goals for Panarin too, and Panarin shoots it wide or whatever. I don't know. But I'm thankful for him developing, and let's get Kako developed now, and let's really make a run here.
Yep.
So
Let's do it.
all right.
Honorable mention would be their depth without Fox in the lineup. They're still able to be first in the league.
I think that
It's
goes
just
back to the
Sturkin for
coaching. I
Yeah,
really
that's what
do.
I was gonna say it's depth,
So-
coaching, everything. Yeah.
It goes back to the coaching. The system. This guy's out. Pitlick goes in. He looks like he never needed to be out. In the first place. And next guy out, plug him in. And it's coaching. That's what it
That's
is.
what happens when you play the game the right way, boys.
Yeah.
Do your job.
All right. Well, see you at the Garden tomorrow night, fellas.
Let's go.
Yeah, have fun, guys.
Let's do it. Let's
All
go
right, boys.
Let's
Rangers.
go Rangers. Love you, boys.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Love you
everybody.
guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Later.